What's shaking, it's bacon, and I'm pretty sure that most of us can agree that in the Taken King, strikes have become way more important than they ever have been. They have taken over our progression. To me, it's the most simple and straightforward way to get your light level up and to just get some interesting weapons and gear for your characters. But unlike before with the strikes, you're not so reliant on that end game screen. You're not waiting for loot afterwards. You're getting pretty much all the loot that you're gonna acquire during that strike. And because of the 3 of coins and such, we want to get through these strikes quickly, but we want to maximize the amount of loot drops that we get. You want to finish your strikes quickly, but at the same time, get as much engrams as possible. And you can only do that by killing all the enemies. Before this expansion, I would just run through the strikes. I would pass by pretty much all the enemies and just end up at the mid-boss and the boss. That's it. But now I want to kill everything. But this is time consuming, especially if your squad isn't necessarily your real squad. They may be randoms and they might not be doing that much. So what do you want to do? Well, I play as my hunter a lot, so I decided to make a hunter build that would help me get through these strikes really fast. And from my experience, everyone is devastating with their super. So I figured, why not generate as many orbs as possible so we can just get those supers back to back to back, and we can just clear out huge waves of enemies very quickly. Before this expansion, hunters weren't good at generating orbs at all. It was pathetic. But now with the Nightstalker subclass, hunters can generate so many orbs that it's nearly unbelievable. It's crazy, and you may just be thinking, oh, he's only talking about the subclass itself. No, I'm adding new things onto it. The new things that have come to us in the Taken King really help us make a ton of orbs, and you're gonna see just how many orbs can be created. Alright, so we're gonna start up by talking about your Nightstalker subclass and the 3 perks that you're gonna need to generate a ton of orbs. Now, firstly, you have Bloodbound. Tethered enemies explode when killed, and damage to tethered enemies is shared by all of them. So if you take out one enemy, you're pretty much taking out the rest of them. And even if an enemy isn't tethered, they may be attacked by that explosion. If they die in the explosion, you're generating orbs off of them. It is a fast way to clear out enemies that are clumped up together. You just do this and you're tearing them apart. Next, we have literally the most important perk to this entire build, and it is Light of the Pack. Killing tethered enemies generates orbs for your fire team. It is really self-explanatory. I don't really need to explain this one, but I will say that with the other perk, this works out perfectly. You're taking out pretty much everyone and you're getting orbs off of everyone. But the orb cap for supers is 8 orbs. Keep that in mind. Then lastly, we have Predator. The void anchors fired from Shadow Shot become traps that stick to surfaces and wait for prey. This is probably the only one that is useful towards your super. It just helps. It just helps. Like, it's not a big focus. If you don't want to have this one, it's not going to really mess you up, but it is a bonus. It does help you out a little bit. And now we're off to the good stuff, and that is the gear and weapons. But before I really say anything about that, I want to just emphasize, you want max intellect. If you can't get max intellect with this, just go for the highest intellect possible. Of course you want that high intellect because your orbs are of more value. It's adding more to their super gauge. I go with tier 5 intellect. The difference between a tier 5 and a tier 1 intellect is huge when you're the one generating orbs. This is a support class, so you want to support as much as possible. Give it your all. And the first piece of gear is the Skyburner's Annex Exotic Hunter Helmet. This is the star of the show. This is what inspired this entire build. It is an amazing helmet for PvE, and I love it to death. Now, its signature perk is called Versatile Shooter. Heavy weapon kills have a chance to create orbs. Orbs collected when your super is full have a chance to grant special ammo. Okay, so the second half of this perk's description may not sound the greatest, but we'll see what we do with this. Trust me, it's great. So heavy weapon kills have a chance to create orbs. That's a chance. It's not guaranteed, but is a chance, and it procs a lot. It procs a lot, and we're going to force it to proc even more based on what we use. But another perk that is on this helmet that I have is Inverse Shadow. Increase super energy gain from killing minions of the darkness. So you're getting your super faster. This is helping you. If you have max intellect and this, your super is always going to be charged for the most part. And when you make orbs for your teammates, they are going to use their supers and in turn give you orbs. You see what I'm going with this? It's a constant cycle of orbs. You're just sharing it and you're going to devastate the darkness. I also have the option of heavy lifting, and you gain bonus super energy from heavy weapon kills. But when I have the option between taking out minions of the darkness and just doing heavy kills against minions of the darkness, I mean, the generalized one sounds better because you're not always going to be using your heavy weapon. Now, because of our helmet's perks, we are going to want to use our heavy weapon a lot. And the best weapon that I found for this are the legendary swords. Not exotic, the legendary swords. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. The legendary swords, they have a lot of ammo. And you're just going to be slashing it up. You're going to be tearing these people apart. And for every couple of kills, you're going to get orbs. Sometimes back to back to back, you're just going to get constant orbs. And this is savage. Like, think about your ammo capacity on a sword and how many orbs you can possibly generate from that. It is insane. You don't even need that many orbs. But we're greedy here. We're getting even more than that. And the reason why I said not exotic is because our exotic slot is being taken. We're going to be using a special weapon that is exotic. And initially I was like, maybe I should wait for this build to have that exotic sword, but it's not necessary. If anything, it hinders it more. I think the legendary sword is good enough, and the special weapon really does make up for whatever you would have been doing with that exotic, which isn't that necessary. So our secondary is the Telesto. The Telesto fusion rifle. This thing is one of my favorite weapons in PvE now. I love it to death. Not only is it boss for how it just blows up on people and pretty much just litters them with stickies, it has this perk which is called Harbinger's Spark. Multi-kills with this weapon spawn orbs for your allies. So whenever you get a multi-kill with this weapon, every single time you are spawning orbs. Do you understand what this means? This weapon puts bombs on people's bodies. So you are pretty much always getting multi-kills with this thing. So it's like you're pretty much always generating orbs. And remember, the Skyburner's Annex helmet has that perk where if you pick up orbs after your super is already charged, you're getting special ammo. So the Telesto is constantly filled, and it is fueled and ready to go and give you more orbs. This is insane. When you do this, make sure you tell your fire team, hey, don't worry about your supers. Just use it. Just make sure you devastate with it, because you're giving them that freedom. You're giving them the possibilities. And I love the possibilities of this build. Now for your primary weapon, arms, chest, and boots, you may have some gear that does give you more super energy or generates orbs or anything like that. If you do, strap that on. Make sure you strap that on, because that is just icing on the cake. And also, if you do Eris's little quest line, you can get an artifact that when getting precision kills with a specified damage type against minions of the darkness, you have a chance to generate orbs. And my sword is void. The Telesto, as you know, is void. But for whatever reason, I decided to get arc. I don't know if that was a misclick or something, but afterwards I looked at it and I got arc. I'm not entirely sure why I got arc, but it doesn't really matter because like the Void Sword, you're not getting headshots with a sword. And the Telesto, I mean, you can get headshots, but it's not likely. What you generally want to do is just blow people up. So it's not that big of a deal. If you get a primary that is whatever damage you want, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. After doing all this, you should be a walking orb generator. I mean, every couple of seconds you should be generating orbs. This is scary stuff. It may not be scary for us. It's pretty awesome for us, in fact, but it is scary stuff in the strikes. Like, it's crazy how much you can accomplish when you're just getting orbs like this. Your teammates can pretty much stay in their supers like it's a constant transformation at this point. And if you're all running this build, I wish the darkness luck, because you sir or madam are crazy, and I love you for it. I hope you found this build useful and tell me how it works for you. I hope you'll like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you in the next one.